Hey everybody, this is Armijo with ChatterMeoCoaching.com. It is a nice day outside. It's cold though. We're starting to get those winter temps already coming through. So it's just what happens when you live kind of in the mountains. It just happens quick. Today I want to talk real quickly about this fear of death, right? So as what we have happening on the planet, this pandemic, this global lockdown, and people are coming to terms with a lot of things within themselves and a lot of things they never thought to consider before. So yes, this fear of death is really what's holding people back right now from learning more about themselves and to be more engaged with their inner being versus their outer being. And so this fear of death is perpetrated by media, right? Media, politicians, all these different entities that are trying to instill this fear in some manner or another within the population. And when people buy into that, it's because they have that internal fear as well. So having a fear of death is a normal aspect of being human, right? It's of almost all species. No species is there to just die, right? And so why this occurs, why we have this fear of death, A, yes, it's a survival mechanism. That's the obvious one. But B, it's that there's unfinished business that these people have. So without consciously realizing it or not, is that when people are scared to die, it's because they haven't finished something yet. We always notice that, I won't say always, but it's happened in a lot of instances where somebody with a terminal illness, they get their diagnosis and doctor says you have 6 months to live or whatever it may be. And so in their mind, their initial part is to really, express disbelief in that. So there's these cycles, the stages of grief that we go through, and these people can experience that on their own terms. However, when they get closer to that end point, they've usually come to terms with that. They've usually accepted that they have done all that they can do during this lifetime while they're here. And so they're trying to clear themselves of any regrets, of anything that they wanted to do towards the end. They're usually doing it. And they're usually able to enjoy themselves even a little bit more now that they've got this, even with this, illness or ailment or dis-ease, whatever you'd like to call that, in the background, they're still able to enjoy themselves because they're free to be themselves. They're not having to go to work usually. They're not having to attend to these mundane things that we as humans have accepted, or we as civilized humans have accepted, right? Of having to go do A, B, and just to get to C. And these things are what never made sense to me. But so having this fear of death is, for a lot of people, an expression of their untapped potential, right? Their regrets that haven't manifested yet. And their knowledge within that's telling them, you have more to do on this planet still. You have more to do in this life. And you're not living up to that potential. Now, the irony is that we have so many of these people that are scared of death. They're washing their hands every 5 seconds. They're dousing themselves with hand sanitizer. They're masking up, 2 or 3, 4 times. They're gloving up. These people are so scared to die, but they're even more afraid to live, it seems like. And so I don't want to downplay what's happening out there. I don't want to downplay this pandemic, but there is the scientific evidence that those humans who can keep themselves in a positive state of being are less likely to become ill, less likely to suffer from any ailments or dis-ease, and more likely to overcome all that which gets in their way. And so we've noticed this huge growth in, of course, spiritual practice. Now, I'm not talking religion. I'm talking spiritual practice, where people are actually researching for themselves how to live and be in this life versus having a religion tell them how to live and be in this life. So two very different things. But we're seeing that happen more and more. We've seen, even yoga to expand, and it's become mainstream. This was, a type of workout modality that was looked at as a specific kind of hippie group, and that's all that does that. So, we're seeing these transitions. We're seeing people understand that this life is temporary, and they're starting to see kind of the cracks in the matrix. They're seeing that politics, they're seeing it in all its dirty glory right now, especially in the US. There are places around the world experiencing the same thing. They're seeing their fellow human being overtaken by fear and not wanting to leave the house and criticizing those who don't agree with what they think is correct. And so they're seeing all these systems and institutions starting to break down. Now, as these people transition, and the people that are willing to live their lives and to say, okay, I'm going to remain positive, I'm going to stay upbeat, I'm going to help my fellow man or woman, I'm going to, move forward in the most beneficial manner for myself and for others. These people are going to grow, they're going to expand, and once we get through this whole thing that we're going through, they're going to come out on top. They're going to be in this whole new situation of love, joy, happiness, and light. Because the old ways of doing things are gone. They're gone. We may see remnants of that still appear, but for the most part, they're going to be gone. And the world's going to look like a vastly different place. It already does from where it was a year ago. So if you don't think it can happen, just look back a year ago and see where we were. Now, those who are stuck in the fear mindset, those who are stuck there and who are just blindly following whatever comes their way, they're going to remain in that fear mindset. And, unfortunately, they're going to have a very tough time as we transition through these next few years, as they try to find themselves in a world that just doesn't exist. And so there's a great quote that kind of goes along with that. And I apologize for not remembering who put this quote forth. I heard it from Bob Proctor, but I will try to find and link the correct author below. But it just says the learners of the planet will inherit a world that looks vastly different from the learned. So I completely butchered that. I'll put the quote down below, but it says the learned are completely set up to inherit a world that no longer exists. So people that have learned through their lives, but then they stopped learning because they've just relied on outside influences, the media, maybe parents, teachers, everybody else to tell them what to do, they're not going to be set up to succeed. And those who have really strived to find their own path, to create their own identity, to become their own being here, are going to have a much, much better time on this planet. So let go of that fear. Fear is the greatest pandemic that we can experience right now. And, Ralph Smart says it best, love is the only vaccine I need. Now, I'm not against science, so I don't want anybody to say that, but I am against people not researching things on their own. And from what I noticed is people are just blindly accepting whatever they're told from the media, whatever they're told from politicians, whatever they're told from friends and family, and they're not doing their own research. Now, I'm not saying to accept what I'm telling you, because that would be hypocritical. Go out, do your own research, and find those answers. Okay, this is Armijo, ChatArmijoCoaching.com. Something keeps itching me. So, go out, get the new book, Wake Up and Recalibrate, if you want a little vitamin C for your mind. That's written by me, Armijo. You can find it on Amazon. I'll put the link below if this is on YouTube, and also in my profile if you see this on Instagram. Thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up button or like button, and I'll see you on the next one.